Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Tony. Tony is from Dallas, in Texas, in the USA. So let's see what Tony has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello, Tony.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm very well. How are you doing today?
Good, good.
I like your background. So, Tony, tell me, where are you from?
I live in Dallas, Texas.
That's the place you were born and raised?
No, I'm originally from Los Angeles.
And why the change from Los Angeles to Dallas?
I moved to Dallas. I've moved a lot, so I came here to Dallas from Virginia, but I left. I moved to Texas for work.
Mm. And what do you do for a living?
I do a lot of things for a living. I am a veterinarian. I am a minister, and I am a porn star sex worker as well.
Wow, that's a lot. For sure, you're a very busy person.
Yes, very busy. Yes.
Tell me, what do you like the most about living in Dallas? What's the best part of the city?
It's very culturally rich here. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of events that are held here, so people from all over will come here as well. So I get to meet a lot of people, so that's nice.
In your opinion, what's the biggest difference between Los Angeles and Dallas?
Politics. The politics. Texas is a very conservative red state, and California is a more liberal state. So.
And do you see yourself living there for a long while?
I've been here for about 6 years now.
Wow. Okay. Right. So before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself?
Something interesting. Well, I guess that would be, I love to learn languages. I'm have one obviously fluent working language, which is English, and I am still building on other two languages. So that would be Spanish and Japanese.
Why Spanish and why Japanese?
Again, I'm from California, so there's a high Mexican population there. So it's just, and Spanish is the second most common language spoken in the US. So it's just, that would be the most logical reason. And Japanese, because I really enjoy the culture.
Wow, it's so interesting saying that, because a few weeks ago, I reached 800 interviews on the show so far. And I had like people all over the planet, people from different places in the world. And I always wanted to have someone from Japan, because I'm so fascinated as well with the culture, with their, the way the Japanese culture is, and always been fascinated. And guess what? I had a lovely man from Japan. He lives in London. He's an actor. He lives in London, but he's originally from Tokyo. And when I realized that he was from Japan, I was like, oh my God, that's the one going to be the celebration of 800 interviews, because I was like over the place.
Wow.
So far, what's your favorite Spanish words and your favorite Japanese words?
I've never really thought about it before. Favorite Spanish word, I guess, would be, the only one I can think of right now is basura. Basura is the only one I can think of at the moment. For Japanese,
which means basura?
Trash.
Okay.
It's trash. There's, a lot of our dirty words that come to mind. Japanese words, probably aishiteru, which it's a phrase. It means I love you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Tony, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
I sure am, yes.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend, okay? questions. I'm just going to play a song now for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
All right.
Okay, Tony, before we start the game, during the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Yeah.
First question for you is, what's the most romantic thing someone has ever done for you?
Oh, so many things, actually. Wow. Okay. One of the most romantic things that someone has ever done for me, it was very special. For my 21st birthday, my boyfriend at the time surprised me with a gondola ride and a picnic. And that was probably one of the first romantic gestures I've ever had. And so that really stuck out in my life. So it was really nice. I'd never been on a gondola before, and we had a great time.
Do you consider yourself to be a romantic person?
Yes, I do. I usually am more fond of like really grand gestures rather than little small things, though. Me personally.
See. And what's something that you've done romantic that someone went like, wow?
I have organized a trip for my boyfriend where I took him to another state, got him a hotel, we had a really nice dinner. So it was a real sort of a trip was the grand gesture. And so we had a great time.
Oh, amazing. Next question, Tony, let's do it. Next question for you is, if you were in a circus, which character would you like to be and why?
Probably the what do you call it? The acrobats. I really am fond of the way they move and fly through the air. And I wish that I could do that myself.
Amazing. Next one. Let's do it, Tony. For the next question, tell me a little bit about your career as a veterinarian. Tell me how everything started.
So everything started as a kid. I've always liked animals, was always watching animal shows and reading animal books, and I had dogs growing up. And so it was, for me, it was the logical course of what to do since I wanted to do something working with animals. And so it was a long process with education and such. And I've now been practicing as a veterinarian for about 10 years now.
See, and being a veterinarian in Dallas, do you think it's the business itself? There's a lot happening there.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the jobs that I don't think is going anywhere anytime soon, and something definitely that can't be replaced with automation, like some other jobs can be, because you really need that sort of physical component to it that you really can't, at least at this point, get with like robots and such. So yeah, business has always been good. I mean, there's ups and downs and slow periods throughout the year, as any profession has, but I've always had a really good life with it.
What do you like the most about being a veterinarian, and what's the most challenging part?
The best thing I like is helping my patients. They come in because they're sick, and I'm able to help them get better, and the owners are very grateful for it. So that's, if I can help them, that is the best part of that's why I do what I do. The most challenging part, of course, is the opposite, where I can't save an animal or have to give a very sad and grave diagnosis, with various illnesses, cancers, etc. So that's, and the euthanasias are definitely not the highlight of my day.
See, all right. Next question is, tell us a funny story or a moment that happened to you when you were a child at school.
That happened to me.
Did you like school?
School was fine. I was a good student. I was very much like, I flew under the radar a lot. So I don't know if I really have a lot of really big moments at school. I just kind of like stayed quiet myself and had my own little bubble of friends. Um, we had a lot of fun, but I can't really recall like a funny moment specifically that happened to me, unfortunately.
It's okay. That's an answer. Next one, Tony. Let's do it. Next question for you is, what makes you most proud?
What makes me most proud at this point in my life is living authentically, just being my true self and being very proud of who I am and what I do with my life.
How was growing up as a gay boy back in Los Angeles?
Um, I would assume very similar to a lot of people because I didn't come out until after I graduated high school. So a lot of it was dealt with, hiding who I was and not trying to shield myself from, the negativity and everything else around it. And it wasn't until after I graduated high school was I able to start this journey to where I am now.
And tell me, when you came out, did something happen, or what the reason that you felt like, okay, I'm gonna be my true self from now on?
It just I felt like as if I could get through high school and then when I started college, I could just be another person and just be me. And so I started telling people slowly that I was close to after high school. Um, and met with some really initially it was very positive and favorable, and then I was outed, which did not go very well because it wasn't on my terms, and so that was a very tumultuous moment in life for that.
See, ready for another one?
Hmm.
Let's do it. Next question. Tony, before the next question, tell me about your career as a sex worker. How did you start it?
That got started during the pandemic. I There was a lot of free time going on since everything was closed. I had a buddy who was doing it, and he said that, "Oh, I think you would be really good." So I started off on like OnlyFans, just for fans, um, just doing a lot of solo content because you couldn't really interact with a lot of people at that time. And it just kind of took off from there. And so I've been doing it now for about 3 years, and it's been getting better every year.
Wow. So people would you like to check your your content, yeah? Tell me something unique or something that people like it about it.
The vast majority of my content is between me and people that I have chemistry with. So a lot of it is very passionate. All of it is unscripted. And I get a lot of comments from people saying that they really enjoy it. And because I do a lot of fan interaction as well, um, it's not just like sex that they get from me. They get more personalized interactions, and some people even ask for advice or for help, or and I try to do my best to get positivity out in the world.
And your content is based, do you put like weekly, monthly, or daily? How it works for you?
I try to put out something every week. I try to put
Mhm.
out something every week. Managing, 3 jobs and 2 relationships. Um, there's a lot of time and things that I have to juggle. So I can't do things daily like I would love to, but at least I try to do every week.
Actually, you mentioned about your two relationships. Actually, I made a note here. It says in your profile, boyfriend two, sir two, and the last one, alpha two. Alpha, what that stands for?
So that is like a dom sub aspect of a relationship too. And so um, if you count that, it's 3 relationships. But only 2 of them I'm romantically involved in. So it's the first 2, the partner 2 and sir 2. Those are both my boyfriends. The one who I'm alpha to is not my boyfriend, but I do manage him as his dominant.
Wow. Thanks for the information. Next question for you is, what book had a big influence on you?
Book series, not just one book, but I think it was a total of 60 some books. When I was growing up, I would always read the Animorphs books, which were about a group of kids who could turn into animals and save the world. And so that also kind of goes into my passion for veterinary work as well. And plus I like superheroes and sci-fi stuff. So it all just kind of fit together.
Actually, I saw some of your pictures as superhero. Which one is your favorite?
Actually, I just did a photo shoot yesterday with more sort of a superhero series as well. Probably my favorite superhero, just off the top of my head, one of my favorite would be Storm, just because of the cultural significance that she portrays, as well as just her amazing powers.
I haven't seen the X-Men movies for quite a while. They should come up with something new. It's been a while now.
It has been a while, and from what I understand, Marvel has been slowly integrating that into the cinematic universe, but I don't think we're going to see anything for another couple of years.
Shame.
Yeah.
Next one, Tony, let's do it. Hey, Tony from Dallas in Texas. If I would ask your best friend right now to define yourself in a positive word and a negative word, what they would say?
Positive word would be caring. I care a lot. I have a very big heart. A negative word, maybe stubborn. I can be a little bit stubborn sometimes, a little bit set on a direct course, but not so much to where I'm not willing to yield.
Saying that, Tony, what do you like the most about being yourself? What's the best parts of being your truly self?
I think the best parts of being, who I truly am is just that I get to do what makes me happy and be happy with it. So especially as growing up as a gay kid, and there's a lot of things that you had to hide, and I've had to come out multiple times in my life, not only as gay, but also as a sex worker, also as a Satanist. So it's at this point in my life, it's just, take me or leave me. I'm who I am, and I love who I am, and I want people who support and love me too in my life, and that's what I'm focusing on.
Wow, beautiful. Ready for another one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me, in your opinion, what's the biggest misconception that people has from sex workers?
I think the biggest misconception is that a lot of us are like drug addicts or have nothing else to offer society, or were forced into it, which is not true from the vast majority of people that I know in the industry. A lot of us that I know were professional workers that then transitioned over to sex work full time, just because it offered just a better control of your lifestyle. And so the vast majority of us, at least the ones that I know, are very educated and good people, and not drug addicts or what have you. So I think that's probably the biggest misconception of it.
Okay. Next question is, when was the last time that you cried and why?
The last time I cried was probably yesterday. It was yesterday. It wasn't a lot of tears, but I did get into a fight with one of my boyfriends, and so we had to talk and make up. So that I cried because of that.
Do you cry easily?
No, I don't cry easily. I do not. I'm pretty stoic with a lot of things, and I'm pretty reserved emotionally, so I don't tend to cry a lot.
What's your star sign, by the way?
Pisces.
Ah, wow. And tell me, Tony, how is for you, I think nowadays, the world we live right now, it's quite common, three ways relationship or polyamorous, yeah? So for you, how do you manage that? Something that you always be involved or something new for you?
No, it's something that I've always been geared towards. But just because of how society is when they direct you towards monogamy. And even I did monogamy initially with my first few partners, and it wasn't for me. It just felt like something was missing, and I was always connected to multiple people at the same time. It was just because that was the box that we were put in, it was hard to really sort of fit it into my life without having either anxiety or feeling like I was doing something wrong, which I wasn't. So now in the last, I don't know what, 7 years or so of my life, when I've lived more as a polyamorous person, and it just feels more authentic. It feels right.
Right. I have three questions left for you. Let's do it. Before the next question, Tony, tell me through your career as a veterinarian, tell me one of the highlights of your career that you go like, you know what, it's something that's I will always gonna remember, or it's always gonna have a special place in my heart.
Probably one of the best cases that I had, one of the ones that stick out the most in my mind, is that there was a dog that had eaten something, and it got stuck in his stomach. And the owner waited about 2 weeks to bring him in. So the dog had lost a lot of weight very, very quickly. And so ended up taking him to surgery, and he actually ended up swallowing a squeaky toy that was stuck in his intestines. And so I removed it, and he did really, really well. And like within 3 weeks or so, like put back on his weight and his muscle, and he was much happier dog after that. And the owners were very thankful. And so those moments there are that's why I do what I do.
Are you more of a cat, a dog person, or
Dog.
Dog person?
Cats are not for me.
And usually, in your work, that's the most case that work like dogs and cats, or not?
I only do dogs and cats. There's another doctor in my practice that'll do like rabbits and guinea pigs and such, but I just do dogs and cats, and typically see a lot more dogs than I do cats.
Okay. Next question for you is, who is a celebrity you admire and why?
Oh, there are a few. I would probably say one of the top ones that comes to my mind, and also probably because I saw him in a movie recently, would be Dwayne Johnson. Just because of his positivity and philanthropy and everything that he does. I try to look at and support people who do good things. So Dwayne Johnson would be one of them. Lupita Nyong'o would be another one. Those are the ones that I tend to admire the most.
Amazing. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me, creating adult content. Tell me if you could choose anyone, like to collaborate with you, to do a scene or a project with you, who that would be?
I would probably say the one that I've wanted to work with for the longest time would be Rocco Steele. That would be probably right now my number one. There's a list of other people I would love to work with, but right now Rocco Steele probably at the top.
And why?
Um, from people that I've never met him personally, but from people that I know that have worked with him, they just say that he's amazing to work with. That he's super nice and plus, I mean, I think he's really hot, so there's that too.
Okay. Next question for you is, do you have any nicknames?
Yes, Scruffy is a nickname, or Scruffy Lobo, which is also my porn name too. So usually people just call me either Scruffy or Tony.
And your partners, how do they call you?
They just well, one of them calls me Sir because I'm his dominant, and the other one calls me Tony
Cool.
or Manwolf. He also calls me Manwolf.
Ready for the last one?
Manwolf.
No, I said ready for the last
for the
question.
the last question. Yes, yes, yes.
Let's do it. Last one. And before the next question, people watching the interview right now, they would like to start a career as a veterinarian, and also they would like to adventure themselves, create adult content as sex workers. What would be your best piece of advice for both?
Best place advice for both is as a veterinarian, if that's something that you're looking forward to going into a career, really know that's what you want to do. Volunteer at a veterinary hospital, see what the work is like first before deciding to devote, your time and your money to education for it, because it is a long road and it is not a cheap one. For an adult worker, similar, make sure that is what you want to do. Either sit down and talk to ones that if you know any. You can also, I mean, if you're not shy about putting yourself out there for the world to see, you can definitely get started on things like the fan sites like OnlyFans or Just for Fans, and start putting your content out there.
All right. Last question for you is, what do you like the most about your best friends?
What I like most about my best friends is that they are loyal and they call me out on my BS. And they're just very real with me. They're not like yes people who just say we agree with everything. Like, they challenge me and I can challenge them, and we can have really good discussions and conversations.
And your best friends, they live in Dallas as well?
I have some that live in Dallas. I have some that live in Virginia. They kind of are all over. A good core group of my friends are friends from vet school, and they live all over the country. And we typically will talk to each other on a sometimes daily, but ideally weekly basis.
I see. Okay. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
All right.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Money.
Power.
Family.
Good.
One word for love.
Polyamory.
Life.
Choices.
Sex.
Fun.
Politics.
Daunting.
Religion.
Outdated.
Fear.
Ever present.
Friendship.
Necessary.
Desire.
All consuming.
Okay. Regrets.
Few.
Success.
Hopeful.
Wish.
Stars.
Happiness.
The present.
One word for Los Angeles.
Home.
One word for Dallas.
Also home.
USA.
Needs work.
I thought you'd say also home. One word for sex workers.
Fulfilling.
And the last one now, veterinarian. One word.
Proud.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your both partners for a coffee, and I'm going to ask them, tell me what is the most beautiful thing about Tony, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What they would say?
They would say the most beautiful thing about me is my heart and my capacity for love. The thing that I would still need to work on would be communication. That's never ever needing thing for, I think, any relationship to continue to work on.
Wow. If I would ask the same question to your best friend, would be the same answer?
Probably, yeah. I think so.
Okay, great. Let's play now, Tony and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Tony, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, question for you would be, how long have you been in the UK? Well, that's not the question. How long have you been in the UK?
It's going to be 18 years.
18 years? Okay. Question for you is, what is something that you had or missed in Brazil that you don't have in the UK? And what, vice versa, what is something that you had in having UK that you didn't have in Brazil?
Beautiful question, beautiful question. Okay, I'm going to start what I didn't have in Brazil that I have the UK. You know what, growing up back in Brazil, I come from, let's say a poor family, a family very, they were always, my parents always working hard to get, me and my sister, have education, have growing up in a good way. And I think nowadays things are a bit different, but at the time, Tony, I think, for example, the first time I saw the sea in my life, I was 18 years old. Where I come from, the nearest seaside is 2 hours by plane. So at the time, growing up, for you to go to the beach is like, it was something like impossible. Just the rich people could do that. And so I realized that in Europe, being London, things are easier for you to live a life, that you have more opportunities, more accessible things as well. For example, back in Brazil, I love going to the cinema. I couldn't go to the cinema like 3 times a week back in Brazil at the time, once a month would be something like, wow, So having access to certain things that here is more accessible, just any different direction, different things as well. That's back in Brazil is more difficult, even nowadays as well, still. Traveling as well. Here in London, I can travel to so many places in Europe. Back in Brazil, for you to do an international trip, it's something that you need to plan ahead, like for a year or so. Yeah. The opposite side is, I'm gonna go for personal. I think, in Brazil, we have this thing that where 3 people can eat, 6 people can eat together. Where we can accommodate 2 people to sleep, we can put 4 people sleeping at the same time as well. So I realized I've been away from Brazil for 20 years now. I was living in Portugal before, and I realized that here in Europe, like people there are more cold, it takes time for you to get, this warmth, like, approach. Yeah, for us, when you talk to a Brazilian person, after 5 minutes, you feel like you're best friends. Yeah, you have this way of, talking, open, a way of, interacting with people. We have this physical touch as well. We talk with our hands. We are very approachable in a way. And I realized that here it's more difficult, it's more cold, the same way people, they're friendly, they're nice, but in a different way, if they wouldn't hug you straight away if they don't know you. They wouldn't like smile straight away for you if they don't have this first talk or anything. So I think that's the difference that I would say. That's what when I think about Brazil, I have European friends. When they go to Brazil, they go like, "Oh my God, I went to a birthday party. I thought I was in a wedding party," because it's it's a different. We have the thing of welcome people. For us, you know, if I meet you, if I talk to you for a few minutes, I feel comfortable enough to invite you to my place for a barbecue or to meet my family or something like that. And here is a difference. Here people don't interact you in this way. It's not wrong. It's just different. Yeah. So that's something that for me, when I came to here to adapt myself was a bit difficult, because for me it was like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna, you know, make friends or how I'm gonna interact with people. Now I understand it's just a different way to be. We back in Brazil, we are very less made fast, easy to connect with people in a different way that here I find more difficult, let's say.
Okay.
Yeah. Have been in London before or Brazil?
I've never been to Brazil. I'm actually looking at going to Brazil for New Year's this year. I've been to London a couple times though.
I see. And what do you like the most about London?
The last time I went there, I went for a wedding. So I stayed for about 2 weeks, and
Wow.
it was great. So I saw a lot of shit, like theater shows. I was able to visit so many different parts. Like, it was, the people I met while there, they were very friendly. And I just had this most awesome time in London. So I definitely do need to go back. The weather, it would rain a lot, so it wasn't my favorite. But the food and what you're able to do there, definitely.
Yeah, London is a city like New York, never stops. There's always something on, there's always something happening, and you always can find things. You never get bored in London. Yeah. Never. Tony, did you like the interview?
I did, yes.
Thanks so much for being so open and so kind and to accept my invitation. But before you go, I would like you to share a positive message or something that you live by on your best British accent. Joking.
Probably a good quote to leave on would be, wear your scars proudly because you've earned them.
Wow. Amazing. Very good. Tony, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much. And we keep in touch. Okay. Thanks for the interview.
Thank you too.
Take care. Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.